Hi, and welcome to The Underground, the podcast partner of Glee 2024. And we're here on Thursday, Floral Thursday, the last day of Glee, and I'm here with Jenny Douthwaite, the MD of Primeur. So, okay, here we go. First question, how on earth do you pronounce the company name?
You're not the only one, Phil, that does this. And we never get offended. But the company name is pronounced Primeur.
Primeur?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jenny, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And we'll dive right in, okay?
Yep.
Perhaps you could just tell us a little bit about Primeur and what you do.
Sure. So as a business, we supply... our garden customers will know us best for our recycled rubber garden landscaping and pot containers. Actually, Primeur as a business was formed over 50 years ago.
All right.
And during that time, we've supplied a real multitude of products. Mm-hmm. But our heritage and our bread and butter is a doormat category.
Okay.
We've been in doormats for many, many years, and it's actually one of the ranges we've brought to Glee for the first time this year.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So whereabouts do you get your rubber from? If it's recycled rubber, is it tyres?
It is tyres, yeah. So everything we make in our garden range, it's made from differing raw materials, which are all recycled. The main one is rubber, and this is predominantly from tyres. So tyres are a huge problem in landfill, massive. They're either burnt generally, or they're buried, and that's not a good environmental story.
No.
The real benefit of rubber as a product, when it's crumbed down and all the metal is removed from it, it can make some fabulous product innovations as we've found, and they have a real multitude of features and benefits which are just excellent for both the retailer and the consumer. The main point being they're completely unbreakable, really. If you think of a tyre and what that goes through in its lifetime and the pressure we put them through on vehicles, the products have really, really good durability features.
Right. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. So let's find out a little bit more about you. How did you get involved in Primeur, and what's your background?
So I joined Primeur 21 years ago.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. I left university and I applied for my first job, which was at Primeur in the sales team. And I was a sales support coordinator. So I helped with the administration of the orders, looked after the customers from the daily sort of administration needs. I've loved the company ever since the day I joined.
Right.
It's a fabulous. We're now into our third generation of family in the business.
Okay.
Our current chairman, James, his uncle started the business over 50 years ago.
Right.
And now two of my fellow directors are James's two children. So we're into our third generation, which is a real accomplishment we're proud of.
Yeah. So what sort of changes have you seen
over the years?
I
think doormats, particularly our product categories, have evolved massively. So products changed enormously within that period of time. Where we source from has evolved over the years. But one thing that's never changed about Primeur is our family ethos, and we're very person-focused business.
Okay.
Many of our staff have wonderful tenures, just like I do. We had a lovely chap who retired from our warehouse last week, who'd been in the business for 43 years.
Wow.
So I think it's a real proud point for us. We feel it's a real accomplishment to have people that are happy, enjoy working for us, and they bring the best to us, which is we're so grateful to our employee base.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a real testament to you as employers, to be able to retain staff because they're not looking elsewhere, you're looking after them, obviously, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about doormats was where you sort of started, and now you've been innovating, coming up with new products and things for the garden as well.
Yep.
So have you got like an R&D department? Who does the innovation?
So it's a real mix. I mean, we have my fellow director, Becky, she heads up our buying department, and we do extensive trips within our supply base. Primeur as a business doesn't manufacture product as such.
Okay.
We source product and develop with our supply bases.
Right.
Most of our suppliers we've had in existence for many decades, probably the longest standing one over 4 decades of supply with them. So they're really long, trusted relationships, and we work on lots of R&D and innovation projects to bring MPD that's really tailored to us, that we know is right for our customers, and that we know there's an appetite for in the retail market.
Right. So how do you get that customer reaction? What sort of things do you get up to find what the customers are looking for?
Well, we have a design team who spend a lot of time looking at what trends are already in the market.
Okay.
So I suppose a lot of that focuses around what is the customer wanting from our product, but also aesthetically, our product in the home and the garden is really important to be aesthetically pleasing to their own homes. So we spend a lot of time on that. We often pass that back to our supply base, who have the skill set with the manufacturing capability.
Okay.
We share all those ideas, and some of our MPD is a disaster. It's, I'm sure not everybody's. No. I'm sure everybody's in the same position.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't work out as you think.
People don't like talking about it, but it is reality, isn't it? It is
reality, yes. And I'm sure there's many people at Glee over the years who've launched new products thinking they would be successful, and they don't necessarily hit the market in the way you expect them to.
Yeah.
I think the key thing from that is going back and learning the lessons from that, because ultimately, if it's not right for the customer, it's not going to be right for the retailer.
Right.
We have to tailor that appropriately.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here at Glee.
Yes.
Okay. How are you finding the show so far? It's the last day.
Yep. Glee's been wonderful for us this year.
Yeah.
I think moving the dateline back to September was 100% the right thing. It's, ultimately, all as an exhibitor that we want from Glee is that it's the right show, the right time, and the customers are coming and they're in the position to be able to talk positively about future business and the future seasons. And I feel this Glee's really delivered that. It's felt really positive.
Okay.
The footfall's been really good. The quality of the visits to the stand from the customer base has been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's definitely exceeded our expectations this year.
Had new conversations going on.
Absolutely, and that's really important. We love seeing our existing customer base. It's really great to touch base with them and to talk about the year that they've had and where we move forward. But any business needs new customers to thrive.
Yeah.
And absolutely, that's we'd like to introduce always an element of new customer into the Glee profile.
Yeah, brilliant. And talking about newness, have you actually sort of brought any new products that you're announcing at Glee this year?
Yep. So we did enter the new products at Glee, and we were shortlisted for 2 of the categories.
Oh, congratulations for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really good. Although it's always a nerve-wracking point standing on the stage with Trevor and pitching your products to the judges.
Your Dragon's Den pitch.
Yeah. The questions are generally the hardest bit at the end. You know your pitch, you know your product, but then when somebody springs a question on you, it's always a bit
completely random.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit like this, really.
Yeah. But yeah, we brought 2 new ranges.
Okay.
So we obviously launched the Mighty Mac brand, and what we entered as a new product was a sustainable collection. So it's really important to us that the ethos we've carried all the way through the garden range is also got a home within our doormat range. So we brought some doormats that are entirely made from recycled materials, front and back, but offer the customer really great benefits in the usage. And we also brought some new planters this year, and we brought a lovely 5-tier stacking planter that's great for trailing plants and strawberries and herbs and etc.
Okay.
So, yeah, sadly we didn't win any of the categories, but I think the new product as a concept is a really great way to get your new innovations out in front of the buyers here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, the new products is one of the first places they go to to have a look and see what's around, what's new, because it's those new things that they want to get those into their garden centres and stores and that sort of thing, isn't it?
They do, and it's really important. Their customers are looking for newness and to be inspired, and it's our job to be able to give them the ammunition to do that in their own retail environments.
So you were saying about one of the new products that you're bringing to market now is a mat which is recycled front and back.
That's right.
So what I was going to ask you was about so when you were telling me, we use recycled sort of rubber, so I can imagine that as the back.
That's right.
And has that always been the case? And you've had other components attached to it, or have you had a whole rubber mat? I honestly don't know. I've got no idea.
So one of the items is an entirely rubber mat. So it's molded in. It's a very traditional sort of rubber mat with holes in it. So it's a good scraper for outside the home.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
But then other mats have rubber backs, and then they have pile. The pile on the top is made from either recycled polypropylene, so plastic bottles,
Okay.
etc.
Oh, right. Okay.
Or sometimes polyesters. But yeah, all of the yarns are recycled so that they. It's helping to move the waste cycle through. I think there's a tremendous amount of waste in our worlds, and the more we can do with recycled fibres is really great. We're trying some ways with lots of our products to sort of complete that circular journey as well. So what can happen to them at the end of their life?
Yeah.
I think that's also a really important message when it comes to sustainability, because lots of us are now making products that are effectively sustainable and green, and they're made with recycled materials. But what happens to them what happens to those products at the end of their life? Do they still become landfill?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And while we're talking about sustainability, I heard you talking at the GEMA conference about sustainability. And I understand that sustainability is really sort of embedded in the business. So can you tell us a little bit about the sort of things that you get up to, with that sustainability hat on?
Yeah, of course. We're going through as many businesses are, our net zero journey at the moment.
Okay.
And I think it's hugely important. I think a lot of businesses have seen it as quite a regulatory element that has been enforced on lots of our sectors. You've got to have the full mind and the full ethos behind it, because if it just becomes a tick box exercise, sustainability is very hard to deliver.
Absolutely.
It has to become ingrained in your business, and it has to be an ethos that's driven all the way through. We're also encouraging all of our supply base to follow this ethos, because it's fine to be an ethical and sustainable UK business, but if you are manufacturing outside of that scope, it's really important that message is going all the way back down the supply chain.
Right.
So we've lots of innovations ongoing at the minute as part of our net zero plan, and we'll continue with those. I think they'll forever keep evolving, because the world of sustainability is.
Yep.
And it's pretty much a full-time job for somebody in our business right now to keep a handle on that.
So can you give me some examples of the sorts of things that you're doing as a business?
So, the obvious things that lots of businesses are doing from a head office point of view, moving lots of the lighting solutions to more energy efficient.
Okay.
We've explored solar as a point from the factory side, but also many of our partners across the world are looking at that.
Right.
We have one particular supplier in Europe who pretty much is self-sufficient from a solar point of view, and also putting back into their community from that perspective. Again, something that's we're really proud of within the supply base. We use all the usual things like the electric trucks within the warehouse. And I think it's just a continuous search for the product side of things to be more green in our thinking, with packaging, with point of sale material. At the end of the day, these end up in landfill through the consumer route at the end of the product purchase cycle. And it's really important to us that our solutions can be recycled, and that they're not harming the environment or ultimately ending up in landfill. Yeah,
that's really interesting. We were talking not here at Glee, but on a previous podcast with a printer, actually.
Okay.
A print is traditionally quite a bad industry for their carbon footprint and chemicals and all sorts of nasty things. And they are green printers. They are tremendous. Yeah. And they looked at their carbon footprint and they were going, well, actually, we're doing right, but we have no idea about our suppliers. Yeah. And then they had to go on that journey, and they were going across Europe, going to see different people, and their suppliers going, what do you mean we've got to be, we've got to start measuring things. And it became a real passion point for them. And, it's tremendous to hear that you're also going through that journey as well.
It is a minefield. It's a complete minefield. And I think it's really good that lots of the areas of the business, because we all start and think about the product itself, but the packaging is hugely important. Yep. There's obviously lots of advances in the packaging reporting side now, which have hit us all. And I think whilst it's a hard process to go through, and it's a lot of work for a business, ultimately it's a great thing for the industry, because it will make us all refocus on using the sustainable sources. Yep. We ensure that all of our packaging is FSC. Our customers demand it, and I think that's a good thing.
I think so.
That's the way the world has to go.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Okay, so what are the opportunities that you've got now that you're really excited about for the business?
So this year particularly, everybody's had the same sort of experience of the garden industry in the last year. And I think at Primeur, what we're doing is going back to basics. We want our customers to be able to carry on selling our products in a really strong way from a volume point of view. And I think we're concentrating with our customers this year on what have become their best sellers. Are they still the best sellers they were? And making sure that we're really focusing on those. I think we're all guilty over the years of making sure that we've got as many SKUs into a customer as possible.
Yeah.
And I think in the current climate where it matters to have the right products on the floor at the right time, that's the opportunity we're focusing on with our consumers and our customers at the moment.
Yeah. So we're at Glee. It's like been really manic. I'm sure you saying how good it was. Have you had a chance to have a look around the show?
I've had a few sneaky little wanders off the stand now and then. The first 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't really get off the stand much. But today I've had a little nosy around and tried to get down into the Gima village a bit and see what's down there. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Has anything caught your eye?
I think there's loads of really great products and suppliers here at the show. There always is. I think I particularly enjoy, I love being inspired by the big suppliers and their stands and the concepts that they're bringing and the look that they're doing. But I also really like having a look at the smaller suppliers and seeing the really bespoke, unique products, often that are, individual entrepreneurs making these innovations themselves. I think they're really great. And when I put my Gima hat on, I always like to see what they're doing, how they're working, how they're advancing in the business, because it is a tough industry. Retail is tricky right now. It's hard, and I think we're only going to survive and thrive in this industry if we all work together in a non-competing way, but collaborate as best we can to make the experience the best for the consumer, because ultimately that's what makes the till ring. Yeah.
So you're talking about Gima there. I know you quite heavily involved in Gima.
Yeah.
What was your role there? Have you just handed over, or are you just about to hand over?
So I'm a council member, and Primeur as a business is a member of Gima as an organisation. I was lucky enough to join the council back in 2017.
Right.
And it's a fabulous experience. Gima have been absolutely pivotal in helping us get to the position we are in the industry today.
So what sort of help do they provide for you?
Every member's experience is really different.
Okay.
It's actually a conversation piece we're going through within the council at the moment about engagement of members and what they gain from the membership. As a trade association, they're fantastic. For me, the biggest benefit we got was the support, really. The support that they enabled us to be able to engage with the customer base that we'd actually never, although we've been a business working with major retailers for many decades, we'd never really worked in the independent sector. And it's hugely different. There's very different learnings to be taken, and there's very different ways of working that are important to that sector. Gima really helped us navigate that, and we're so grateful to that. Vicky particularly, and Colin in the past, who's now retired but was one of our membership ambassadors. And we want to try and reach out to the membership to see what do you need from Gima? What are we doing today that is great, but equally what are we not doing that you need from us? So Tony Kersey's recently become alongside at Gima with Vicky, and that's a big part of his role, to try and engage with the members, understand what they're looking for, how we move forward, and ultimately how we support them to be the best that they can possibly be.
So we had Ed Cantle on the podcast. I think it was yesterday. Honestly, I can't remember what day it was. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. And he was saying about the mentoring scheme that you operate within Gima, and sort of the council members get assigned people to. So are you involved in that as well? Yeah. So when I was president, I stepped down from president this year, but I had two years as president of Gima, which was utterly fabulous. And as part of my tenure there as president, that was an initiative that we brought in, the buddy scheme, and it was predominantly born out of my experience of Gima, where brilliant.
I felt like I'd really had that. I'd had a mentor in the industry. I'd had somebody that I could reach out to and understand, complexities that I wasn't really understanding at that point in time. So we've offered that scheme to, predominantly it gets offered to new members who join, which was my experience. But ultimately it's open to anybody. If people reach out to the association and ask for that support, it absolutely will be given. Oh, that's really good to hear. Yeah. Well, I think that just about wraps things up. I think what a great place to end. Oh, thank you, Phil. So much, Jenny, for coming to see us today. Thank you very much for having me. All the best with the rest of the show. Thank you. You as well. Thank you.